Hey, it's Michael, and this is the Kintsugi Podcast. I'll be back in a minute with this week's conversation about resilience. But first, if you wish to create a better life and have a better career, then please visit michaelobrienshift.com and download your free workbook on how to create a better life. In it, you'll discover ways to find more energy for the things and the people who matter most to you, so you can create a better tomorrow. Hey there, it's Michael, and welcome back to the Kintsugi Podcast. It's been a minute, right? Well, actually, it's been over 1 million minutes since our last episode. But we're back, baby, and I'm so excited to bring the Kintsugi Podcast version 2.0 to you as we travel forward together. But before we go forward, let's take a step back and reflect. Perhaps in the spirit of pausing, breathing, and reflecting. I want to take you back to October 2021 when I paused the show. Back then, I was feeling overwhelmed. There were so many balls in the air. I was a few months into rehabbing my total knee replacement, a knee replacement that I knew one day I would receive as a result of my last bad day, near fatal cycling accident, which you might know about. If you don't, there are plenty of ways to find out about it. You can even email me about it and I'll share a little bit more. And we were also planning a cross-country adventure, my wife and I, to celebrate the 21st anniversary of my accident. And of course, we had the pandemic. And when you combined all the months from March of 2020 to October of 2021, counseling and coaching my executive clients through the uncertainty, all of it was wearing on me. I would spend my days trying to coach and counsel people through this unprecedented moment. And although I didn't take on all their energy, after each call, I probably had some of their energy with me. Even a little bit, over time, can build up. And I needed some space to breathe. So with this space, I was able to work on my strength, rehab my knee, work on my fitness, and get ready for our ride across the country. So in June of 2022, on Flag Day, my wife and I set off for a great adventure across America. We called it the Rise to Ripple Challenge. Rise, speaking of resilience, to a bridge to something new. Ripple, of course, it's all about energy. And challenge because, let's be honest, it was going to be a challenge. I would be riding my bike and she would be driving our rented RV that we called Maisie. And we had our 2 dogs with us. And now we have 3. It was amazing. We went from Astoria, Oregon to Washington, D.C., the place where we met and started our family together. And I'm going to share more about our trip with you as we go forward on the Kintsugi Podcast together. But I'll share this today. During the trip, I fell more in love with America. Yes, we are far from perfect. What is perfect anyway? Plus, we're on a quest to form a more perfect union. This country is enormous and has jaw-dropping beauty. I had so many moments of feeling awe. And I met so many wonderful people in states that I've never been to. And these people didn't see the world as I saw the world, but they had a like-heartedness. I like like-heartedness. I think that's more important than finding people who are like-minded. So I met these wonderful people. I saw amazing sights. We got to share something, my wife and I, that we'll never forget. But I also felt our pain. I rode my bike through towns long forgotten, communities trying to reimagine themselves, and areas of the country that are thriving. But I felt our worry Again, this is 2022. We're still in the pandemic. There are plenty of things to worry about, and I felt them in the communities that I traveled in. So we might be scared, as I believe we're scared right now, but we, like Kintsugi, we are beautiful. As I rode through these towns, I felt people were worried about the future, their status. In towns like bougie Jackson Hole in Wyoming, people who are pretty well off felt worry. And that person in a town long forgotten, just trying to make ends meet, they were also worried. And their lives are at different ends of the spectrum, but the worry they felt really real to them. So I saw all this beauty, but I also saw our fissures, our cracks, where we're broken. So our trip took 41 days. And if riding across the country isn't hard enough, I decided to layer on a little complexity to create our pause, breathe, reflect, meditation, and gratitude app. You might know that pause, breathe, reflect, and my mindfulness practice was the reason, one of the main reasons, along with the wonderful people that supported me, how I got through my recovery. The power of mindfulness and gratitude. And you might think I'm a bit crazy for trying to ride my bike across the country and develop an app at the same time. And maybe I am, but I believe this in every cell of my body that the world needs this. Each day, if we could all 8 billion of us, take 1 minute to pause, breathe, reflect, I believe we'll have a more peaceful world. We can heal our wounds. We can come into our kintsugi. Yes, we might break. We might be broken right now, but we can come into a beautiful state. The data is clear. Mother Earth, the universe, God, whoever happens to fill up your mug, your grand barista, they're inviting us into a moment here where we need to be more thoughtful about how we're showing up for ourselves, for each other, for the planet, for all creatures, so we can care for ourselves. And mindfulness is a tool that can help so many people. And there are people out there who are really into breath work, and they're really edgy with their breath work, and that's awesome. I love breath work. There's breath work patterns on the app. And there are people who are really into intense silent retreats, and I've been to many. I think they're fantastic. And there are people who are really into the spiritual aspects of meditation and mindfulness, which is really cool. I think all that stuff is awesome. Any tool that you can find that can help you become a better human and ripple something positive into the world, I am down for that. That is awesome. But I didn't build the app for those people. I built it for people like you and me, people who want to meditate, but our morning routine is already too busy, or we might not know how to meditate. Much like I didn't know what to do back when I was in the hospital recuperating from my accident. I like to say, if you don't have 10 minutes in the morning to practice mindfulness, I bet you have 5 times throughout the day where you have 2 minutes. I want you to weave mindfulness into how you live, embody it. I want to support you in making mindfulness a way of life so you can bring mindfulness to your everyday moments as opposed to thinking of it as some transactional thing that you have to do. So I hope you'll check it out. It just turned 1 this month. Pretty cool, right? So fast forward to September of 2023, just a couple months ago. I was riding my bike across New York State, and a few people reached out to me and said, "Hey, we really miss your podcast." And I'll be honest, my snarky reply back to them that I didn't share but thought in my head was, I didn't think anyone was really listening, but that's cool. They went on to share how important these stories are. And they invited me to consider, as I was riding my bike, bringing it back. And that's what I did. 5 days across New York State, 571 plus miles. And when I got to New York City, I decided to bring Kintsugi back because I believe, actually, I know the world needs it. The world needs inspirational stories from people who are in front of the class and people like you and me who are just trying to figure this thing called life out. We need these stories. There are plenty of messages out there, plenty of stories about fear and divisiveness and hatred. We're not going to make all those go away. But to counterbalance them, we need stories that can lift us up, that can inspire us and motivate us. Stories that ripple love and kindness and compassion and gratitude and mindfulness into the world. Stories that can help us see the humanity in each of us. Stories that help us come together. Yeah, we might have broken during the pandemic, but I know this. We can come back in a more beautiful form, like Kintsugi. And that's what I plan to do as we bring back the podcast. Bring you stories that are amazing, stories of resilience, people who have gotten through their obstacles, people living with their obstacles current day. And I hope the stories help you see your strength, help you see the Kintsugi spirit within you. So I hope you'll join us as we welcome our podcast back to the world. And you're always invited to subscribe, leave a comment, share an episode, do all that type of rippling so other people can find us as well. You can follow me at Pause, Breathe, Reflect on Instagram. And of course, you can check out that app and leave me a question or recommend a guest, whatever suits your fancy. But I'm glad you're along for this ride. And I can't wait to ripple something worth rippling with you into the world. So until next week, do just that. Put a good ripple into the world. And I love you for listening. See you next week.